Hello, everyone, and welcome to the start of the DeJanVu podcast with me, Michael, and Stanley. We're going to be discussing the Croatia national team for the upcoming World Cup, their chances, the squad, anything really that we can grasp. Obviously, none of us are actually Croatian heritage, so we're going to try our best to, do the Croatians proud. But yeah. What do you guys think about the up and coming chances for the 2022 World Cup? Michael, Stanley.
Yeah, Michael.
Talk to me.
Go.
All right, go on. I'll kick it off. I mean, I reckon they got a good chance. Especially to get out of the group. I'd say them and Belgium. That's who you put your money on to get out of that. And then, Lou, I think you know who they could get in the next round.
Yeah, so obviously I think the group F, aren't they? So going against group E. It's a tough group as well. They've got some few standout teams, obviously Germany and Spain. Also Costa Rica, who I think you might remember from the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah.
Actually topped the group with England.
Yeah.
It was Italy and Uruguay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So actually made it to the quarters as well, but got knocked out on penalties by the Netherlands. So you never know. They could be a strong suit again. And also Japan, which, they've done their bit in the last few World Cups.
Yeah.
So,
they got a sneaky good team, Japan.
Yeah. So I think they could definitely make it past the group, but there's no, guarantee they're going to get straight past the round of 16 or
I don't think I'd pick them against Germany or Spain. I mean, like before watching any of the World Cup games.
Yeah, I mean Germany got a few injuries coming up with. I think Neuer was actually a doubt at one point. I'm not sure if he still is. And then Timo Werner, the 5-6 strikers out. But yeah, moving back to Croatia, obviously only 5 appearances in the World Cup before this, obviously part of Yugoslavia before. But yeah, the last World Cup into the final. So can they go one better and win it?
Well, I think the problem is that their squad is just aging, and there's not really, especially in the forward line. Like it looks like it's really going to be Perisic and Kramaric leading the line, both players into their 30s, and they've got their midfield is obviously still strong. You've got Modric, you've got Brozovic, who's been really good for Inter for the last 18 months. I know he's had some injury troubles this season, but so they've got a strong midfield. They've got an experienced team. But it looks like as well that it's going to be Dejan Lovren and Vida at centre half starting the tournament, which again, it's the same. You can't be having the same team, same squad, same starting 11 you had in the previous tournament. You need fresh faces. You need more legs, frankly. And I think if they progress further, I think you might see an issue there of their squad just starting to wear down a bit easier than than the other teams in the tournament that are constantly refreshing their team.
Yeah, obviously, so you see a lot of teams that go into the World Cup round of 16 quarterfinals. They might go to extra time, and some teams get multiple extra time games in a row. They go all the way to penalties, like we've seen it a lot of times before. So it's just whether the squad's going to really handle that. And obviously, they've got a few younger players coming through. But obviously, I've gone about the front line, and we did a predicted lineup on the Overtime Online Twitter.
Yeah.
If you guys want to look at that, we Orsic up front for our Dynamo Zagreb. He's been doing quite well this season. 6 goals and 4 assists in 16 starts.
Not too bad.
So I think we saw last time they did score a few goals at the World Cup, and they have been able to do that. But an all-round team, they've got a great team. But I think trying to replace Mandzukic will be a bit of a task, really.
Yeah, that's going to be.
They hope that Orsic can step up, but we'll see. Perisic on the left, come into Conte's team. I think a lot of people expected him to really push Tottenham a bit more, but I don't know if you've seen that.
Mhm.
Maybe playing out a bit out of position in a 5-back, but yeah, what are you guys thinking about the main players? Really, you got Modric, obviously aging as well.
Yeah.
Could be his.
Yeah,
Sorry.
You go.
His, all right. Yeah, I mean, it could be his last World Cup. So you'd think, I mean, on the aging thing as well, they do have a lot of experience, which could help them through games. Like a lot of players like Modric, Perisic. Like they've been there. They've kind of won everything there is to win in football. So I think that could bring them above certain teams that are like, maybe they are like a Germany or a Spain or someone. If they play in the next round, they're replenishing their squad, but they've not got the level of experience, especially in World Cups. So there could be that could help.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I like, I think your Louis' point about not about replacing Mandzukic. He was such a big part of their having a real focal point up front. And now their main man really is Kramaric, and he's not really a number 9 as such. He's more of a really old school fashions number 10. He's not an out and out striker. He never really has been. So I think they'll heavily rely on the pace of Orsic to stretch teams, because I mean, don't get me wrong, they're going to have a lot of possession. They've got excellent footballers all around the squad, but I just think, because in reality, are they good enough to beat a Belgium side? You would not think so. The likelihood of them topping that group, unless something miraculous happens, as far as what happens with Belgium. Second place, like I said, you're going to face probably Spain or Germany anyway, so there's not really an easy round in the next go. So I think we're going to have to. I think Orsic is key. I think because he's got a lot of ability. He's got like electric pace. He does have the attributes to trouble top sides.
Yeah,
but I think the age factor's I think it will be their undoing.
I do want to bring up a point though. We mentioned Belgium. They also have an age squad.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to look at this because I went through obviously the list of the Croatian players, and we saw a lot of them in their 30s, really looking on the edge of retirement. I went on to a site to look at the basically the national teams and the average age of players. Belgium actually making it into the top 3. Average over 27.4. Obviously, don't know if that includes just the World Cup squad that they're bringing, but they do have age players as well. So I think you see a lot of that in the big teams. A lot of them are aging. They haven't replenished it as much, and that's why they've been so successful, because of the players have just been so consistent. And no team yet has really gone for that big jump of just bringing in the new age of players. And I think, if Croatia can really get it right, I think they can push past Belgium or Germany, and I can see them getting into the semis, and maybe even repeating into the final again. But I think they are a 50 to 1 odds to win the whole thing. So we don't really know, but I've always seen them as an underdog story. Everyone sort of puts them aside, not in the mix of France, Germany, Spain, and they just leave Croatia. But Croatia always seems to surprise everyone, and they nearly came out on top last time.
Yeah, definitely.
No one expected them to make it to the final last time either. So
no,
they're always kind of creeping up there.
I think they were in the final. I think really it got to 1-1 with the Perisic goal, didn't it? It was quite a close game until I think Griezmann got a penalty, and I think after that, heads start to drop when you can get back into the game once, but once you got to do it twice and 3 times and 4 times, the heads drop. And I think but this is where they've aged another 4 years. Does that affect them anymore?
Well, it's their best players. They're the ones. That's the issue, because I agree with you about having experience around the squad. I think you very rarely are going to get. I mean, I think France might have been a little bit of an exception in the last World Cup. Obviously, they had a lot of experience, but their best players were all essentially early 20s, mid-20s. They didn't have any old players. But the problem is like you said, Modric is now 4 years older. and he's such a big part of their ability to keep the ball, to break teams down, break through the lines, unlock teams. No longer having Mandzukic, who, as we've said, and I think that the difference with someone like a Belgium is that all of their top players are not, say, on the decline. You've got De Bruyne, Teams, like Carrasco, players like that. Players like Carrasco, people don't really talk about, who's an elite wing, like an elite international winger. So I think, although I agree with you, I think Belgium are also an ageing squad. They are. But the difference is that the Croatian players, their top 3 or 4 players, their best 3 or 4 players are really on the decline. Even as good as Modric is, he's not got the legs that he did have 4 years ago, despite still being an exceptional footballer.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Obviously, the top 3 or 4 players with Modric, it just, although with the legs, it just doesn't seem like he could play football for another 5 years and still be at the level he is now. Because I think when you have the brains like that in football, the legs, you don't need them as much.
Yeah, I agree.
You can literally sit in the middle and just dictate the play however he wants, and know what. It's very rare you get a player like that. Obviously, he won the Ballon d'Or. Was it 2018? After the World Cup, anyway. So I think he's got 5 goals and 3 assists this season in 12 games. He's just one like in a million with these sort of players, and obviously the team around him, we'll have to see what they do as well. But I think he can win a game. He's one of them players.
Their midfield is key with Brozovic and Kovacic. Probably can cover, especially Kovacic can cover for his necessary lack of mobility. That's their biggest attribute, is that midfield 3. You could put that up against most of the midfields in the tournament and they would hold their own. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kovacic. I give him props. I don't support Chelsea, but I've watched him quite a bit. And Kovacic, honestly, I think he's one of the most underrated players. I was rated him for a long time, and I think like when I've seen him not starting for Chelsea, when he's not even injured, I was like, he could go to any other club and get a start, and he could really help.
100%.
Modric out there with his legs as well. So I think midfield definitely one of the strongest in the tournament, with quality and just at their age and like how clever they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to see how age affects it. But I think he can actually be one of the most important players in this World Cup, and very underrated.
Yeah, I mean the only worry about that midfield, like you'd say, is like Modric is kind of, I mean he's like the biggest source of creativity. I mean like you're relying on that, and even I mean I suppose Perisic as a winger can get balls in and stuff, but that would be your only worry, is like you're kind of the main person that can create the chances, is like he's the oldest player in the team pretty much.
Yeah.
So
but it is Luka Modric, so
yeah, that's the. So what realistically are we thinking for the group then? Where we putting them? Obviously, on paper, you're thinking, they shouldn't overcome Belgium realistically. But are we saying a certain qualification? Do we think there's a potential for them to have a mishap, or?
I think there's always potential with, there's a World Cup, anything could happen really. We've seen it before, especially I was mentioned earlier with Costa Rica, England, Uruguay and Italy, who no one's going to think they're going to make it out of that. But I just think it's, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I'd put my money on Croatia to get through that. And I think they'll be clever, and I think they'll maybe look at the other group and what's happening in that group, and maybe try and, like, we've seen it before. When England and Belgium played one year, I think Gareth Southgate played a lesser squad against Belgium to maybe get an easier run.
Yeah,
teams do that, and it's a part of the game. So I think they will get through. I'm not sure first or second. It can really come down to that game against Belgium.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for them, the game, like for Croatia, the game against Belgium is the last game. So if they, handle their business against Morocco and Canada, that is like a lot less important. I mean, it's just, do they want to finish first or second?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think there's any? So you don't think there's any chance in upset out of those
I
teams?
mean-
Because I think they've got. They're not bad teams. They're decent teams. They've gone on good runs recently, especially Canada.
I can see
I would
Canada doing something, but
same.
I
would
think
say Canada.
Davies went off injured the other day.
Yeah, there's
He
a
did,
bit of
he did.
Not sure if it's definite he's making it or not.
yeah.
They've got a good squad, Canada. They've got a good young squad as well, and like certain standout players. Jonathan David
Jonathan David, yeah.
He's a brilliant player. I know a lot of big clubs are interested in him.
Mm.
Morocco, I haven't really looked at enough, and they could shock me, and they could win the group for all I know. So, but I think when you look at it on paper, like I was saying before, I think it's Belgium and Croatia.
Yeah,
I think they then two will make it far into the tournament as well.
same. Yeah.
So yeah,
Fantastic.
if we are doing like a little just a preview now, I know we haven't got the full squads of like the definite people that are going. If you're saying it now, how far are they going, do you reckon?
I'm saying, Don, I'll be interested, and I'll say they make the quarters.
Yeah,
Quarters. Okay. All right. Yeah. I think.
Go on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I think with the squad that they've got, and if they go the right way, obviously I mentioned earlier Germany and Spain and Costa Rica and Japan could be a tough one. But I'm gonna say they make it to. They make it to the semi-finals. I think.
Ooh.
I think they do, and that could be horribly wrong. I'm willing to put it out there,
Okay.
and Croatia on my second team.
Very brave. Very
Yeah.
brave, that selection. I mean, I think I'm going to sound boring here, but as I just don't see it really. I think you all you're saying is right. It purely depends, because I could genuinely see them potentially upsetting Belgium. The likelihood is that they don't, and I just think they're going to struggle for goals, consistent goal production from that front line. So I could even see them potentially dropping a 0-0 against Canada or Morocco personally. So I think they'll come second, and unfortunately I think they will fall to either Spain or Germany in the 16.
Yeah.
I think if people do look at that like as a neutral and have maybe not trying to be exciting, I think that's probably the most likely outcome.
That is, yeah.
So yeah, but semi-finals, quarterfinals, and losing to round of 16, losing to Germany or Spain or Costa Rica or Japan.
Yeah, that's a bit of a group of death they've got.
Yeah, it's a tough group, to be fair.
Yeah.
Japan have got some. They've got some really good attacking players.
Mm.
They're always a shout to upset a big boy. Really, they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's our sort of insight into the World Cup and a little bit of a prediction going on. We'll follow up closer to the time when they announce obviously the final squad and we see who's going, who's not due to injuries and competition. But yeah, that's been the end of this one from Louis, Michael and Stanley. DeJanVu podcast. Make sure to follow it on Instagram and Twitter. DeJanVu_podcast. And yeah, that's been the first episode. Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah.